Today was another 8:30 in the morning and coming back home at like 7 already. I had programming. We did more of Python codes, so we got into more of math stuff, into like square roots and then absolute values, and then there's like the sale and the division. There's like the division that rounds up, the division that rounds down, and then we applied those to some problems where we have variables, and when we arrange the variables that they give the math calculations correctly, obviously. And some of them are quite tricky, not because of Python, but because of the logic to it. And it's basically, the whole thing is about logic. The whole coding stuff is about logic. I know it's like basics right now still, but... And I had like 4 hours break, so I was at the library and I was just reviewing the chemistry and mechanics stuff and previewing for the next class, which was right after my 4-hour break. So in chemistry we did a whole bunch of like science history about more like electron histories, or like we should call it photon history. How each scientist kind of came up with their idea of what the electrons were and what the nucleus were, and all their guesses. But all the experiments that they did are so complicated, and the prof kind of went through it quite briefly, which I guess it's not that important, but I don't know what kind of questions are going to be on the finals, because like other teachers might teach it differently. I'll just look at that. Either way, it was very complicated to understand at the first. Like, it took me like a whole hour or two to like go through the entire lecture before class started. In mechanics, we just pretty much finished angular velocity stuff, I think. We did the conversion from linear velocity to angular velocity situations between pulleys or gears or tire wheels on the same axis, and then calculation for when we have one variable and then we have like variables about A, and we want to find those for C and for B, other wheels that are connected to it and all that. So everything that's confusing about is the acceleration for me, because like there's 3 types of acceleration: the centripetal, total, which is the total, and the tangential. And every time when we plug into the formula that we know, like the linear formula that we use for projectiles as well, like when is the alpha instantaneous or like average, or like does it not matter, or like is it always constant? Because acceleration could be constant in most cases. That's what I'm